For decades, the humble fullback was arguably the most overlooked position on the football pitch. They were defenders, pure and simple, tasked primarily with stopping crosses and tracking wingers. But if you've been watching modern football, you'll know those days are long gone. Today, players like Joao Cancelo, Trent Alexander-Arnold, and Hakimi aren't just wide defenders, they're the ultimate tactical Swiss Army knives, and their market value reflects that. We're talking about a complete revolution in what this position demands, and it's fundamentally reshaping how elite teams play the game. Think back to fullbacks from just a couple of decades ago. Their primary directive was simple: defend their flank. They rarely ventured past the halfway line unless absolutely necessary, and their attacking contributions were often limited to a hopeful cross every now and then. Their skill set was focused on one-on-one defending, heading, and positional discipline. While crucial, it was a specialized, often unsung role, and certainly not one that commanded the massive transfer fees we see today. They were the unsung heroes, not the headline makers. Now, let's talk about the cold, hard cash. The market has spoken. Between 2010 and 2015, the average transfer fee for a top-tier fullback hovered around 10 to 15 million euros. A solid investment, sure, but not record-breaking. Fast forward to 2020 to 2023, and that average skyrockets to 40 to 50 million euros. We're talking about a staggering 300% increase in market value in just over a decade. Players like Joao Cancelo commanded 70 million, Hakimi 65 million, and Trent Alexander-Arnold is valued at 65 million. This isn't just inflation, it's a re-evaluation of the position's strategic importance. So, what caused this seismic shift? It's primarily driven by tactical evolution. Modern managers, especially those championing possession-based football or intense high-pressing systems, realized they needed more from their wide defenders. They saw an opportunity to utilize the full width of the pitch, create overloads, and launch attacks from unexpected areas. The fullback, positioned on the touchline, became the ideal candidate to fulfill these new, complex roles. It wasn't about simply defending anymore, it was about contributing to every phase of play, constantly adapting to the team's needs in possession and out of it. This versatility is key. The modern fullback isn't just one thing, they're a hybrid. Picture this: they need to be defensively solid, like the fullbacks of old, but simultaneously possess the dribbling skills of a winger, the passing range of a central midfielder, and the stamina of a marathon runner. They might be hugging the touchline 1 minute, then inverting into the midfield the next, or even making an underlapping run into the box. This fluid, multi-role expectation is what makes truly elite fullbacks so rare and, consequently, so valuable. It's a position that asks for everything, and gives managers incredible flexibility. One of the most defining aspects of the modern fullback is the inverted role. Instead of staying wide, these players move into central midfield areas when their team has possession. This creates an extra body in the middle, overloading opponents, providing passing options, and allowing the nominal central midfielders to push higher or occupy different spaces. Joao Cancelo, during his time at Manchester City, became the poster child for this. He'd often be picking up the ball in areas traditionally occupied by a number 8, dictating tempo and spraying passes, effectively acting as an additional deep-lying playmaker. It's a game-changer for ball retention and progression. Beyond just inverting, modern fullbacks are often their team's primary creative outlets. They're no longer just putting in hopeful crosses, they're delivering laser-accurate passes that cut through defenses, creating big chances. Think of Trent Alexander-Arnold. He often operates as a quarterback from deep, spraying diagonal balls to switch play or whipping in dangerous crosses from wide areas that almost act like set pieces. These players contribute a massive number of key passes and progressive passes, driving their team forward in ways that were once reserved for central attacking midfielders. It's a huge burden, but a rewarding one. When their team is out of possession, modern fullbacks transform into high-pressing wingers. They push far up the pitch, closing down opponents, winning the ball back in advanced areas, and launching quick counterattacks. Hakimi is a brilliant example of this. with his incredible pace and energy allowing him to constantly harass opposition fullbacks and wingers, turning defense into attack in an instant. This demands not only blistering speed and stamina but also astute tactical awareness to know when to press, and which passing lanes to cut off. They're basically adding an entire extra winger to the attacking line when needed, which is wild, by the way. This multifaceted role comes at a significant physical cost. Modern fullbacks consistently cover between 10 to 13 kilometers per game, placing them among the highest distance covered of any outfield position, often rivaling central midfielders. But it's not just the distance, it's the intensity. They register between 20 to 30 high-intensity sprints per game, which is the highest of any position on the pitch. They're constantly bursting up and down the wing, recovering defensively, then exploding forward again. This relentless demand requires elite-level fitness, endurance, and recovery, making them incredibly difficult to replace and highlighting their uniqueness. To really hammer home the point, let's list out the core tactical actions demanded from a top modern fullback. They are asked to provide width and attack, ensuring the pitch is stretched. They must make those crucial overlapping runs to create space or deliver crosses. Then, they need to execute underlapping runs, cutting inside to surprise defenders. In possession, they often invert into midfield to aid build-up, and, crucially, they must still maintain defensive stability, tracking back and winning their individual battles. This combination is what makes them indispensable. Let's dive into some numbers to illustrate this point. When we talk about playmaking, progressive passes are key, passes that move the ball significantly closer to the opponent's goal. A traditional fullback typically manages around 3 to 5 progressive passes per 90 minutes. Solid, but not groundbreaking. However, for a top modern fullback, that number leaps to 8 to 12 progressive passes per 90 minutes. That's double, sometimes triple, the output. It shows just how much they contribute to moving the ball up the pitch and initiating dangerous attacks from deep areas. It's like having an extra attacking midfielder on the wing. The offensive involvement doesn't stop there. Key passes, which directly lead to a shot on goal, are another crucial metric. Traditional fullbacks generally manage about 0.5 to 1 key pass per 90. But top modern fullbacks are hitting 2 to 4 key passes per 90, a massive increase that highlights their role as genuine creators. Combine that with their touches in the attacking third, 40 to 60 per 90 for modern fullbacks, compared to just 15 to 25 for their traditional counterparts. This really emphasizes how often they're in dangerous positions, influencing the final third, and making things happen. They are constantly involved in the attacking flow. Even their dribbling numbers tell a story. Top modern fullbacks complete 2 to 3 successful dribbles per 90, showing their ability to beat a man in advance play, compared to 0.5 to 1 for traditional fullbacks. This indicates a much more direct, attacking threat. Now, interestingly, when it comes to purely defensive actions like interceptions and tackles, modern fullbacks often register slightly fewer than their traditional counterparts, around 3 to 5 per 90 versus 4 to 6. This isn't a weakness, it reflects their advanced positioning and the team's emphasis on winning the ball higher up the pitch, reducing the need for desperate last-ditch defending in their own third. It's a trade-off, but a deliberate one. Elite managers recognize this shift and build their entire systems around these players. Pep Guardiola, a master tactician, famously stated, "Fullbacks are now the most important players for attacking football. They give you the width, the penetration, and the control." He's not just talking about individual brilliance, he's highlighting their foundational role in his possession-based, attacking philosophy. For Pep, fullbacks aren't merely supporting cast, they are orchestrators, providing the structural integrity and creative spark that allows his teams to dominate games. It's a ringing endorsement from one of the best. Jurgen Klopp, another managerial giant, echoes this sentiment, but with a slightly different flavor. His Liverpool side, known for their relentless pressing and rapid transitions, relies heavily on their fullbacks. Klopp has said, "Without our fullbacks, we wouldn't be able to play our game. They are our playmakers from deep." This emphasizes their role not just in possession, but in initiating rapid attacks after winning the ball. They are the engine, launching forward passes and crosses that fuel Liverpool's high-octane football. For Klopp, they are the vital conduits that turn defensive solidity into devastating offensive thrusts. It's a testament to their versatility. So, why are these players so expensive? It boils down to rarity. The demands of the modern fullback position require an almost impossible combination of attributes: exceptional physical fitness, defensive solidity, elite passing range, dribbling ability, and high tactical intelligence to execute complex movements. Finding a player who excels in all these areas is incredibly difficult. They are football's unicorns. This scarcity, coupled with their immense tactical importance to elite teams, drives up their market value significantly. Clubs are willing to pay a premium because these players don't just fill a role, they elevate an entire system, which is a big deal. Take João Cancelo as a prime example of this rare breed. His ability to seamlessly transition from an orthodox wide defender to an inverted midfielder, and then an overlapping attacker, made him indispensable for Manchester City and Bayern Munich. He wasn't just doing one job well, he was doing 3 or 4, often within the same passage of play. This tactical elasticity allowed his managers to dictate games in various ways, creating overload centrally or stretching opponents wide. His vision, exquisite technique, and tireless work rate embody everything a modern fullback needs to be. He's the ultimate example of a system-defining player, which is why he was so valued. However, this advanced, attacking role isn't without its drawbacks. When fullbacks push high up the pitch, they inevitably leave space behind them. This can make teams vulnerable to quick counterattacks, especially against opponents with fast wingers or effective long balls. Managers have to carefully balance the offensive gains with potential defensive exposure. It often requires specific tactical adjustments, like a central midfielder dropping deep to cover, or a wide center-back shifting across. It's a calculated risk, but one that most elite teams are willing to take for the significant offensive benefits these players provide. It's a constant tactical chess match. So, what does the future hold for the modern fullback? It's unlikely this trend will reverse. If anything, the demands on these players will only continue to intensify. We might see even more specialized roles emerge, or a greater emphasis on robotic-level consistency across all phases of play. The game is constantly evolving, and the fullback position is at the forefront of that evolution. As managers push the boundaries of tactics, they will continue to seek out and develop players who can excel in these incredibly demanding, multifunctional roles. The market will undoubtedly reflect this, meaning these stars will continue to command top dollar. In conclusion, the modern fullback is no longer just a defender. They are the embodiment of tactical versatility, a crucial attacking weapon, a midfield controller, and a high-pressing enforcer, all rolled into one. Their extreme physical and tactical demands make them rare, and their ability to unlock complex attacking systems makes them invaluable. The skyrocketing transfer fees aren't just a sign of market madness, they're a clear indicator of their indispensable status in the modern game. When you're watching the next big match, pay attention to the fullbacks, because they just might be the most important players on the pitch. Thanks for watching.